Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red trimmed in black, he weighed in officially 157.6 pounds. In 10 fights, his record stands at 6 victories, with 4 defeats and 2 wins coming by way of out from Riverside, California. Here is Donte Stubbs! And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the red corner. Wearing white with gold, he weighed in 154 pounds even. In 2 bouts, he stands perfect with 2 victories, both wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Hollywood, Florida. Here is the undefeated Eric Tudor!
This is good here, this is good here. Touch gloves if you want. God bless.
Ray Corona, the third man in the ring. We are getting ready to go. Thank you for joining us wherever you may be. Golden Boy Fight Night. You're on DAZN and also on Golden Boy's YouTube page. Eric Tudor, that's Donte Stubbs representing Riverside, California. 5 fights coming your way, or we are underway in Indio, California. Eric Tudor, a 20-year-old. He's a young man with Romanian roots. His father's from Romania, so he was able to try to qualify for the Olympics on the Romanian banner. He gets after it.
And he wants to work with everybody in the gym. I mean, he's a guy that spoke it. You know, I didn't know too much about him, but his trainer spoke highly of him, and he spoke, you know, what he wanted to do, Eric, in the future.
Serious, but just the training wasn't there.
And that's what I asked him a couple of questions about, you know, what was the problem, or, you know, why you come in unprepared, and he gave it, you know, his account of it. But, you know, you can't take that into the next fight. If I'm his opponent, if I'm Eric, I'm looking at him like this guy might wake up with me and start winning, so I can't make that happen. That's the way I got from Eric on his counter response to that. But, you know, both of these guys are still at a young career, young age, and it matters now.
Final seconds of the opening round, scheduled for 6 here. Golden Boy Fight Night in Indio, California. Working our way towards Tito Costa against Yaniel Rivera. Eric Tudor, his last fight was in April. That was in Mexico, a first round knockout. So he went down there to get fights. He turned pro this year. It was the first time he's fighting somebody with a winning record in Donte Stubbs. Stubbs, we've seen him around the Southern California club scenes. He's fought on Thompson shows. He's fought different venues, always the B-side. And he said, this is the first time I actually hired a strength and conditioning coach, because he's starting to realize, Bernard, you start losing, you're gonna be the B-side, but you're gonna be looked at a different way also.
Yeah, and he's talked about, as you mentioned, his gas tank. You know, how he, you know, got tired for certain fights, and and another thing, you got to fill your gas tank up if you're looking to go in this sport long in your career. So his gas tank is full.
I've worked a couple of his fights on the club scenes, and he's knocked guys down early, but then takes the foot off the gas pedal, and he said he just gasses out. So he goes for broke in the second and third rounds. He looks like he's starting to pick up the speed here.
And if I was Eric, and I know I watched fights before Eric took this fight, he has to go ahead now and just put the pressure on him and make him fight where he can lose, you know, use some of that energy, use some of that intensity. And so if he gets tired, then Eric be able to capitalize on that.
20-year-old Eric Tudor going to the body as Stubbs lands with the left.
Good combination, but it was 1 or 2 punches before then. It was a 3-punch combination, and 2 of them got in. If he can do more of that, then Eric has to really adjust to what he's doing now, and it's not actually getting his respect from Stubbs. I like to see Stubbs go to the body. He's able to lean. Eric, he's tall. The body is right there. I haven't seen Stubbs try to use.
We had a couple fights in the bubble at MGM on top rank shows, and said I loved it. There was nobody there. It's great. Nobody's bothering me. This guy's wired different, Bernard.
Yeah, he is. He has an old soul with a young body and a young career. And you know, when you hear these things, you be like, oh, wait a minute, I don't hear this from a normal guy with a few fights. But let me tell you, he talks well, he looks good, and he's working on this combinations more, he said in the gym, and I want to see him do it now where it counts. I like to see him throw a little bit more jabs and meaningful jabs. And then
It's the first time that Tudor has had resistance in his career. I mean, mind you, he's 20 years old. They're bringing him along real slow. But, and there's Donte Stubbs with a big swing and a miss. I've seen that in the 3 fights I've worked with him. He always goes for one of those big haymakers.
And you know why? You're desperate. You're tired. When you're tired, man, you're a desperate man. And that's why that punch came from the other side of the ring. And you know what? Eric didn't count on that. And that's something that, you know, he probably look at when he look at his feet. His position. He's just enough distance to be able to hit and really not get countered. And that's the thing. Just did a good roll, head roll, shoulder roll, and he need to counter when he do that. He throws the right hand after he make that roll and that move. That move is to set up the right hand.
And that right there is what you're talking about, right?
From that knockout.
And you mentioned school. I asked Tudor if he went to high school. He's like, well, like, what does that mean? He's like, I was enrolled online, but because he was traveling so much for it, he was homeschooled. And he's like, my school was in the gym. So that's how locked in and focused he is for the young man, Eric Tudor. Look at the CompuBox numbers, power punches through 4.
Want to make a statement when they go in the ring because they want to be talked about. They want to be known. So these are fights that the ones that's listening at home is watching the fight, they must make statements. And that's what Eric talked about yesterday at the fighters meeting, that he wants to make a statement. I'm waiting to see that statement.
You're gonna stop with the belt.
Well, we see it in the 6th round as we're wrapping up the 5th here in Indio, California. Eric Tudor looking good here.
You got 1 round to make it happen. And this is where Eric has to be aware, but he also has to still fight. Eric's still in the fight. He just got hit with overhand right. He took it pretty well, but this is where he has to be careful, but he has to be active. Also, good
body
punch.
shots from
Good
Tudor.
punch.
Good one. That's what Bernard wanted to see. Now you see it, Bernard, the combinations.
Yes, I wish it would have happened earlier because it would have put that investment and you would have cashed out later.
Good right hand landed by Tudor. And Stubbs saying, come on, bring it. Well, you got tagged.
But he's definitely a tough guy. He's been in there. You said Ricky. I think he's playing possum. He's waiting, then he'll throw a hanger punch, haymaker too.
Tudor, this could be his first real fight. His 3 other fights were against minimal resistance. Tonight he's had to work it and earn. And you see some blood from the nose of Stubbs here with 30 seconds to go in the fight. Being smart is Eric Tudor also.
Yeah, that, showing some ring generalship, but
Stop.
he's a little winded. It's been like a grueling fight.
Huh?
Stubbs been on him. He's never took a step back. He continued to come forward.
You gotta stop with the belt.
Gets tagged right at the bell, and that'll do it. 6 good rounds, fun round between Eric Tudor and Donte Stubbs. They go to the distance, and it'll go to the...
To see it, 60-54. Your winner by unanimous decision. He is still undefeated, Eric Tudor.
Goes the distance, 6 good rounds, sweeps the cards. 20-year-old Eric Tudor.